My friends.
Hello.
Hi.
What is going the fuck on?
I've converted. I am no longer a Marxist. I am now a anarchist.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
With cringe tendencies.
Yeah,
Well,
me too.
This is no longer the collective organization. This is now Kitty Marxist. Kitty Anarchist Hour. We have No Theory. Yeah. You know, every time I'm like, okay, we try to expand, and I'm like, let's try to, build some gaps. One of us just says some fucking contrarian shit, and we're never gonna have left unity. It's over. It's dead. It's a pipe dream. This is why the anarchists go against the revolution, because we just keep disrespecting them on YouTube.
I said I'm one of them. I don't know. How is that disrespect? I'm a big get.
You are, and anyone who's looking to have you. But if anyone would just watch literally one video ago, they would know you're full of shit. So
I feel like I'm the nicest to these people, but I am also like really backhanded as shit all the time.
Yeah, I would definitely say you are the nicest in the sense of like how much you like reach out to these people, but you definitely talk a lot of shit in the Discord. So
true.
That's okay. I just talk shit in general, or I'll provoke a fight and then tag one of you guys and then fuck off. So
I talk shit and I'm like, let me fix you, Ancom, please.
I fucking forgot my beverage. I'm so upset. So, for the sake of posterity, what did you guys think of the PFLP's statement today?
Do you want to pull it up?
I'm going to, yeah.
Nice.
Let's
I thought it was like very succinct.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna play the TikTok from Tommy Dad and go from there. Fuck.
Put out a
not following. Wow.
A day of worldwide action in support of Palestine tomorrow, October 13th. The statement starts off, "O steadfast and resilient masses of our Palestinian people, O masses of our Arab nation, O free people of the world." The saga of the Al-Aqsa flood, executed by the Palestinian resistance in Gaza, came as a qualitative milestone in the Palestinian national struggle, extending for more than a century to attain its legitimate historical rights of freedom, independence, and self-determination. The unparalleled bombardment by the Zionist war machine against our people in the besieged Strip, which resulted in numerous censorship, bombings of houses over their inhabitants, erasing entire residential squares, targeting journalists and medical teams, cutting off water, electricity, fuel, and food from the Strip, are all but failed attempts to paint a false image of victory over the censorship of our children, women, and elderly in the Strip. It is also an exploitation of the Western American cover to entirely obliterate the Palestinian cause, which is the renewed old project of Netanyahu's government that aims to end the conflict, annex the West Bank, Judaize Al-Aqsa, and censorship the prisoners. It has become essential to intensify the support and solidarity with our people in the Strip, both Palestinian, Arab, and internationally. Therefore, we in the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine issue this important call to 1. Urge the masses of our people everywhere, in the homeland and in the diaspora to massively and widely take to the streets, to rise against the occupation and to openly clash with it, expressing a state of cohesion with our people in the Strip in its ongoing battle. The coming Friday should be a day of escalation for Gaza. 2, call on our people in the West Bank, inside Israel, and the sons of our Arab nation to urgently organize relief convoys to Gaza, prioritizing medical supplies and fuel. 3, call on the nationalist, progressive, leftist, Arab and international forces, Arab masses, the free people of the world, and international sympathizers to organize stands in front of the enemy's embassies of countries participating in the aggression, and international institutions worldwide to denounce the crimes of the occupation and to reject international bias and collusion with the Zionist entity. 4, the need for international and human rights institutions to document the crimes of the fascist occupation, expose them to the world, urge the international community to take up its responsibilities, perform its duties, condemn the brutal acts committed by the Zionist enemy against unarmed civilians inside the Strip. Unite the efforts of all opposing forces to face the occupation and defend the Palestinian narrative against the false Zionist narrative, affirming that what the resistance does in self-defense and is a natural response to the continued occupation and aggression. 5, demand the International Criminal Court to open an investigation into the censorship and war crimes committed by the Zionist occupation in the Gaza Strip. Number 6, confront the hostile American and Western behavior against our people, which is biased towards the Zionist entity and is complicit in its aggression against our Palestinian people, continuing its colonial past in aggression, extermination wars, and the European positions hostile to the rights of our people. 7, the unjust international community should stop its double standards. This world, which laments those captured in the settlements surrounding Gaza, doesn't it see that there are 7,000 Palestinian prisoners languishing for decades in the occupation's prisons? Doesn't this world realize that the problem lies in the presence of the occupation that has occupied our land and our sanctities for 75 years? These dual policies and their standards and this blatant violation of the rights of our people will only bring more fire and blood. What our heroic Palestinian people in the steadfast Strip are exposed to, a war of extermination that makes humanity shudder, imposes upon us urgent action and uprising against Zionist criminality and its supporters, especially since the U.S. administration and the Western system are aligned to the point of partnership with the Zionist entity to continue its crimes against our people. Signed, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, October 12, 2023.
Goes hard.
Yes.
I mean, not even like memeing aside, goes hard. I mean, like you were saying, QD, so succinct, so clear cut. I mean, what is there really left to say? You know, the people are fighting for their liberation, and I really like. I think it was in point number 5 where they blatantly say, you know, this is a fascist occupation.
Yeah.
And it's true, you know. And I know that really will twist the knife in for liberals who don't understand what that word means.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Of course, what's it called? American and Western media is reporting it as, calling for global jihad. Um, and people really don't know what jihad means. I mean, from my understanding, jihad pretty much just means like struggle or like holy struggle. So like
Just means
any
struggle.
okay,
Period.
struggle. So
Yeah,
like
period.
anything can be a jihad. So like Hamas fighting against Israel can be a jihad. But Afghani nationals fighting against U.S. occupation can also be jihad, or the Mujahideen fighting against the Soviet Union can be like. It's just it's a word that they use that Western and European media will spin as like the dirty Browns are coming to get us.
It scares the shit out of generally ignorant American citizens, basically. Scares the absolute shit out of them. They hear it and they react viscerally because of, like we've talked about the cultural hegemony just inherent to media, that they've taken this word, jihad, which, the meaning doesn't even matter anymore. It's just that sound when they hear it, it's like how the propaganda for this thing works. They come out and make a claim. Well, there were babies beheaded by Hamas. That's all they need to say. They didn't need to go back and recant it because nobody hears the recants. Once it's said, once it's out there, that's what the people believe.
Yeah, atrocity propaganda, where they just, it's literally they're gish galloping the world. To use debate bro words, like they're literally just like throwing out as much shit as possible that it overwhelms audiences. So even if one or two things end up getting proven incorrect, even if they're all proven incorrect, they won't be proven incorrect to each individual that has heard all of those things. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So naturally, they'll come to a conclusion that is biased inherently towards Israel. Even if they end up supporting Palestine, it'll still inherently have like a bias towards Israel because they have consumed Israeli propaganda.
Right.
100%.
It's something I had to deconstruct when even as a young lad, understanding that socialism wasn't like all of these bad things that they said.
Right.
But the problem is I heard the bad things first and I heard them a lot. So even though in my head I knew, okay, there's more to this and I have to look into it, that reactionary propaganda still stuck with me for a long time. It's hard to get rid of. That's the power of media and propaganda.
For sure. And for the people, 9/11 wasn't that long ago. So the people who survived that, the people who had family members who were victimized by that, who fell for the Iraqi propaganda, are just going to now see and hear the word jihad and all that. And they're immediately thinking, 9/11 2.0. Even though that was technically 2.0, but you know what I'm saying. But we got someone in the comments here talking about how last time it was Iraqis and 60 babies or something like that. Yeah, preemies in the hospital, exactly, where that young girl was told that was a daughter of one of the ambassadors, I think, of Kuwait, who was told to legitimately just lie about Iraqi soldiers killing babies, to justify what amounted to the genocide in Iraq.
Yeah, she was a daughter of the Kuwait royal family, and I think it might have been Parenti or somebody else where he basically was like, unless Kuwait specialized in
preemies
and a premature baby birth, they definitely did not have 50 baby incubators, because in all of California or some shit like that, it was like 10.
So I was gonna say that too, as a clinician, like I don't think people realize how rare that kind of stuff is in a lot of the world. Unfortunately, but even in the United States, like medical care, like I think people just as a default, like they'll see like one hospital and be like, oh, it's the same as this hospital. No, hospitals are broken down into levels of trauma that they can handle, from 1 to 3. So the same thing with like, not every hospital has a NICU. Not every hospital has that many incubators. Not every state, not every country is going to have 50 fucking neonate incubators. Like,
Yeah.
it's just stupid, and these people are falling right for it. Let's take a look at another article real quick that is relevant while we talk about propaganda real quick. Where from Intercept. No, I will not join your reporting. Beheaded babies report spread wide and fast, but Israel military won't confirm it. I wonder why. It's about 4 days since this incredible and tragic escalation of violence, and the level of misinformation, even disinformation, seems near unprecedented. No, it's not unprecedented. Y'all just didn't pay attention 20 years ago. Israel defense source could not confirm a horrific claim that Hamas beheaded babies during a weekend assault on a spokesperson for the military told The Intercept on Tuesday. The claim went viral, becoming a headline-grabbing aspect of the massacre that left more than 1,000 Israeli dead. Despite the inability to confirm the report, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spokesperson Tal Heinrich repeated it on Wednesday, a window into how unverified reports become part of the historical record. Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%. It's like they literally taught us that in grade school, that history is written by the victors, but okay. Yep.
Yeah. No, history is written by the ruling class. Victors. The Nazis certainly didn't win, but they were part of the ruling class, and they still wrote history.
Yeah. Well, they did win in West Germany. Like that's one of the reasons is like in West Germany they literally stopped like arresting and seeking justice for collaborators and Yazidis in West Germany because they wanted to actually be fighting against the communists.
Yeah.
And I believe it's the Rot Front in West Germany. So they lost in East Germany. Those motherfuckers were swept away pretty aggressively, right?
Very aggressively. As they should have been.
But they didn't in West Germany, and they didn't in the United States or in the UK,
or Canada,
or France, like
Spain, Argentina.
All right.
We're just naming countries as like Animaniacs. Mexico, Panama.
I'm just saying the rat lines did not go east.
No, not at all.
For good reason.
So I got more articles to go through, but we don't have to jump on that right now. Hi, Comrade Wumbo, what's going on? So with this statement from the PFLP, I tend to not be as alarmist, but I feel as at this point a regional war has already started because Israel Defense Force, they're acting like a bunch of lunatics. Well, I mean, they really were, but now they're dropping bombs in Syria and in Lebanon. And yeah, they do this pretty much every couple of weeks. But the fact that they're doing it after reeling back from this massive, a pretty decent blow, and then they're still trying to hit targets all around them. I feel like they're very much trying to restart another 1967 war.
Yeah. Well, they allegedly, right? They stopped doing what are called roof knocks. And if you don't know what roof knocks are, it's basically when they find a building that they say has, Hamas in the building, right? It usually isn't, right? But when they find a building that they say has them, right? They do a thing called a roof knock where they fire a mortar shell at the top of a building, and it's basically they bomb a building but not a big bomb to warn people in the building. So it's still, injures civilians and stuff like that, but the goal isn't to like destroy the entire building. And they give roughly 60 seconds for people to leave the building. But this is what they mean when they say that they warn the people before they do an airstrike or a bombing or something like that. They say that they warn people, but really what they do is they do a literal like tiny bombing, and then they give people 60 seconds before they shoot the missile into the building. And what they stopped doing is they stopped giving roof knocks. So even though it gives a short amount of time, it's still enough for some people at the bottom of the floors to get the hell out of there, right? But they're not doing that anymore. And I believe Hamas put out a statement that of the people that they brought as hostages, right? When we spoke about last time that Hamas obviously brought the hostages to try to protect Palestinian, militants and like freedom fighters and civilians, right? They have essentially threatened the Israeli government that they will, and I quote, regrettably, they will have to like unalive one hostage every time Israel doesn't do a roof knock.
Wow.
And Israel's being like, they're doing crazy war crimes. It's like, dude, you're targeting a building with civilians. Like, you are the one who is initiating the war crime, and then they are saying we're gonna retaliate. Like,
yeah, it reminds me of when Breonna Taylor was murdered, and the whole the controversy came up again about no-knock raids, and it's like, well, they warned them, and it's like, bro, you understand that their warning literally could just be them going like, and then opening the door, like,
yeah.
So they technically did it, but they didn't actually do it. Like that's disgusting. And we got a comment here that's pretty interesting, where supposedly in Palestine, and I could see how they have to store their water on the rooftops. And actually, I mean, in a lot of cities you still do that. So, okay, so best case scenario, they destroyed our drinking water that we can't get for a month. God, I mean, how can you look at this and justify it? It's beyond me. Maybe Captain Nita from our last show can come in and I'm fortunate for me so far.
Captain Nita is an imperialist dog.
Yeah. He literally was. But fortunately, in my personal life right now, I have not encountered too many blatant Zionist sympathizers. I had a couple people on social media that I did away with. But we can skip over this if you want to, Cutie Pie. You want to talk about what happened earlier or no?
Well, I mean, I had a run-in with some Zionists. We'll just say it like that.
That's fine.
We'll just say that there was a disagreement of sorts, and things happened. So
yeah,
good for you. Good for you.
Mogged
on. Oh man, you genuinely brought a smile on my face when I read that.
Who says Marxists don't do praxis? Come on now.
I was sitting at work with like a shit-eating grin on my face with someone in front of me that would have been absolutely horrified to know what I was grinning at, and that just made me smile. That just made my smile even bigger. So right. I just had to grin. I just had to pretend like I was just a grinning idiot.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's check this one out real quick.
If I end up on the bird project before them, I'm not invited to their birthday.
Oh, for a second I didn't realize what they meant by the bird project.
you know, like I said, I think a different time. I mean, you know, if you know there were some cameras, then it's entirely possible that you know, Comrade Cutie Pie's face reveal is a little premature. Let's just say.
I love that. I love that. That'd be a good way. That'd be a good way. My brother was telling me, he's at university, that there was this big demonstration, but he showed up pretty much it was ending, and he said that there's this one woman who very openly Jewish, and she gave some speech that was basically ended with "Long live Israel," and and she just left, and pretty much everyone was like silent, and she just left with like a shit-eating grin, and it's just like, how can you not read the room, bro? Like, read the room. I don't know.
Guess what?
Ben Shabibo's throwing out AI war crimes, so we're in.
Yeah, I saw that, and I can't, even they're fake. I can't show them on screen, but
no, it looked like burnt Play-Doh. So,
what were they supposed to be? Children?
Yeah.
So those you don't know, Ben Shabibo shared on his social media, basically, it was an image of what would have been burned children. And surprise, surprise, it was an AI generated image, which, I mean, the propaganda game is stepping up like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it does look good. Like, it looks like a good, like, it looks real.
Yeah,
sort of
quality AI. Shabibo's got the best AI.
But like,
yeah,
also,
apparently,
on top of that, like, did he like not bother to check his source at all before putting it out? Like, obviously not, but like, like, come on, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're gonna put something like that out, like, at least check so like you don't look stupid. Like,
yeah, he does not care about looking stupid, because again, like, it's the atrocity propaganda. It's that it got out. That's what matters. Even if he winds up looking like a jackass, the vast majority of reactionaries will see that and have an emotional reaction, and that's reality to them. This is textbook Parenti inventing reality. So
Check out the comment, Larry. Should have verified with Dr. Wife.
My doctor's wife, and she said it's completely unnormal for it to be wet and gushy.
Did you say my doctor's wife?
My doctor's wife, maybe they're married to the game,
It's perfectly normal for the children to look like burnt Play-Doh.
Why would you perhaps consider that my sister Abigail supports Hamas? Okay.
Have you considered hypothetically that the PFLP are actually gloriful soldiers and militants of freedom?
And may Allah, inshallah,
mashallah, Palestine will be free.
I'm gonna try to read this fucking article. Israel Air Force bombs near its two main airports in targeted attacks, state media says. Israel has carried out airstrikes against two Syrian airports, running them out of service, according to Syrian state media. Citing military sources, the Syrian Arab News Agency said the Israeli enemy carried out an air aggression on the two international airports of Damascus and Aleppo, taking them out of service. It added, the source added that shelling the two airports that occurred simultaneously at 1:50 p.m. this afternoon caused material damage to the airstrip, which resulted in being out of service. Video circulating on social media purportedly shows the strike with large plumes of smoke rising on the scene. Israel has not commented on the alleged strikes. Tel Aviv does not typically comment on its military operations. Really? Because they're only talking about how they're about to genocide a whole group of people, but that's okay. Yep. All right. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's literally like Germany 1945 level of like just aggression to other nations,
Yeah. They're just spitting hot fire in the general direction of their neighbors.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. All right, so since this is a Marxist siesta and it's a shorter episode, we can wrap it up with So, like I was saying earlier, I think that a region war has already started. How do you think? Do you think there's going to be any serious call to action from the PFLP statement today, or what do you guys think?
I think we're gonna see the what are they called? The Palestinian Authority. The people who are allegedly supposed to be theoretically in charge of the West Bank, right? I think we're gonna see support for them like really collapse. And you'll probably see a lot more like militant action in the West Bank, because obviously Hamas has kind of started it, right? But there's other groups all across Palestine that are obviously also joining in this, right?
Yeah.
And again, please, one of you tell me if I'm wrong, but the Palestinian Authority, on the name, right? The Palestinian Authority are extremely pro two-state solution, and they kind of just want to, like, they're essentially controlled opposition at this point, right? In
Yeah.
the same way that Hamas used to be controlled opposition, and it's now backfired. But
Right.
Yeah, basically, there's going to be an attempt from Ghazian authorities to try to rectify as much peace as possible, but I think whoever's putting out that tweet like knows it's all for nothing, and it's going to be a fight to the death for everybody involved, and it's going to be interesting to see. And again, this is what I was saying earlier, where like I don't mean to be like an alarmist, but I part of me wouldn't be super surprised that if there is massive more militant operations from Palestine into Israel tomorrow, that Lebanon and Syria wouldn't react either. Especially I believe it's Syria always, or is it Syria or Lebanon? It's one of the other guys. One of you correct me. Trying to reclaim the Golan Heights.
That's Syria,
right? So who knows?
I think Syria still has its civil war going on, and
Yeah.
to my knowledge, the Free Syrian Army, which is the ones that are oppositional to Assad, they're in the south of Syria, which would be more on the border of the Golan Heights. And Syria has been funding, not Syria, Israel has been funding, both ISIS and the Free Syrian Army to fight against Assad. And that, again, obviously, Assad's kind of cringe, but they're obviously doing it because it's their interest to keep a hostile government from assisting Palestinians in that regard.
Yeah.
I think across the entire region, you're probably, especially as things become more apparent to the Arab world, I suppose, you'll see Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon, Hezbollah, Syria. You'll see their domestic governments shift in a way where the individuals that get elected or the individuals that get appointed are progressively more and more in favor of military action in support of Palestine. That's not to say that they will be doing anything in support of Palestine militarily for even the next year or so, but I think it's inevitable that there will be because of this there will be a shift in politics away from what has been happening in the past 6 years or so of nations in the Middle East essentially normalizing relationships or relations with Israel. I think we're going to see that pendulum kind of like swing in the opposite direction and back towards a more inherently and like obviously hostile relationship where there will be kind of like the propaganda with remember like Crimea, where they were talking about the little green men crossing the border and shit.
Yeah.
I think we'll see something along those lines where there's just, there's people crossing the border from Jordan or from Egypt into Gaza and the West Bank, and bolstering militant operations there. Obviously, that's happening currently, right, to a certain degree, but I think that's gonna like expand quite a bit. You know what I mean? And be potentially even overtly supported by the states that border those regions, rather than being like smaller groups or something that they're covertly doing.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, either way, the contradictions keep contradicting and the world keeps changing one way or another.
Indeed.
Any final thoughts, Larry?
No, actually not. No final thoughts. From the river to the sea.
I thought you were just gonna look into the camera. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were just gonna stare.
Yeah. You're pretty unpredictable, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, no, we got you good the other day where we knew you were gonna say some bullshit, but just in general. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Or was I? Was I really? I wasn't. Or was I? I don't know.
From the river to the sea, my friends.
I am a rascal.
Palestine shall be free.
Bye.